Welcome back. This is Friday Fuel. I'm Aidan, and this is our mini-series, Answer Me This. And this week, we are going to be talking about the excuses that are holding you back from realising your potential as dad, your potential outside of the home, and how those excuses could be impact your role and the influence that you have over young minds. This is Friday Fuel. And for all our resources, you can find them on the modernfatherhoodclub.com. We have a number of free resources, some great paid courses to help you understand your role and, importantly, add extra context to the role that you want to play at home and the influence that you want to have, and how you can shape the lives of those you love the most. If you like what you hear today, please leave a comment, subscribe to the podcast, and if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, like, comment, and share with a dad that you think needs to be on this journey. Right, without further ado, let's get started. Do you ever look around at your life, the home you've built, the kids you're raising, the partner you love, and still feel like you're falling short? I've felt that for a long time. From time to time, I still feel it. And that's me right now. But you know what the worst part is? I know exactly why. If you find yourself in that space that I've just described, then this episode is the one you're going to need to listen to. We'll get onto my story later. Why? Because this episode is focused on pushing you a little harder. And here's the question you've got to answer. What's the excuse holding you back from being the father you truly want to be? And don't say you don't have one, because we all do. And don't give that surface level response either. You know the one. I've got too much on my plate. I'm tired. My kids need me. My partner needs me to do this and that. Or my personal favourite. I'll get to it later. The question is, are you owning it, or is it owning you? As always, if you're prepared to share, drop me a DM, send me an email, and if you're liking what you hear, like, comment and subscribe. We're beginning to get the traction we need, but we need your support. Why? Because the mission is simple: to change the way we approach fatherhood and how we prepare. But it's more than that. The business model is designed to reach everyone, not just those that can afford it. I created a different model because I don't want to pitch councils for work and work myself into the ground and burn out. I want to deliver outstanding value for a price, but at the same time give something back without sacrificing the quality of the content, the products, and the service. I don't want to fight for a piece of the action. I want the agenda to be clear. Dads need real support, especially those that are less fortunate. I hate to say it, but if you're like me, you're not looking to fall into a system that's flawed and failing. You want support, no bullshit, no filter, and something you can connect with. So before you answer, what I want you to think about is this. What's the real excuse? Not the dressed up version, not the noble one, not the I'm doing it for them line. You know that one that allows us to at least put our head down on the pillow and get some sleep at night. What's the excuse that actually stops you from being the father you know you're meant to be, moment by moment, day by day? And then I want you to answer this. What story have you built around that excuse that allows it to stay? I want you to take the time, because this part, well, it hurts a little, but it also heals too. Since April 2020, when I had that serious mental health setback, I've been determined to stay strong for me, for my partner, for my kids. I've worked hard at it every single day. Journaling, writing, meditation and exercise. I've pushed myself to stay on track. Together, we've done the work. We've moved house. We've supported the kids. We've supported one another. We've built new routines. But if I'm brutally honest, the chaos hasn't let up. We've got two busy careers. I've obviously got my side business that I'm trying to grow. We've got a mortgage. We're raising kids who need us on form. At times, there's been a lack of support when we've had our backs against the wall. People we thought would show up Just have them. For me, that excuse, though, it has 1,000 faces. Work, pressure, fatigue, provision, building something better. I'm doing it for them. But here's the kicker. If what you're building costs you your relationship, it's not a legacy, but a liability. That's where it hurts. As parents, sometimes you realise you're not alone. It's you. It is you, your partner, and nothing. When we were really struggling with Henry in 2024, my partner, she stepped up. She made a plan. We got help as a family. But sometimes the little things that people don't pick up on, those are the things that leave that sour taste. We're all busy, but when your back is against the wall, you've got to be there for one another. Because like I said, if what you're building costs you the relationship, it's not a legacy, it's a liability. When you're in the chaos and the pressure is building, you need to have clarity, control, a vision, something that you can cling on to. When you don't, that's when it can all get too much. And that's when it can start to erode how you feel about yourself and how you feel about one another. Listen to me. Even when I play this back, it sounds like an excuse. This is why you need to understand the influence the outside world is having on you and how you show up for them. Take my wife, a woman at the peak of her powers. Her work is exceptional, but for too long it's been overlooked. That contribution and value she brings to a business is ignored. And because it's ignored, she's searching for feedback, to feel something, to be recognised. And that recognition isn't coming. You've got to turn inward. But in the midst of that chaos, you can't if you're burned out, frustrated and unclear on your next steps. That's when you look at your options. Where can I add more value? But more importantly, how do I create the legacy and move away from becoming the liability? Another excuse maybe? Being a bit harsh. But I think we have to show our children that there's a choice. You can live life to the fullest or sit back and let it pass you by. We are defined by the choices we make, the excuses we allow to control our future. What example does it set for those we love the most? So before we move any further, what's the excuse holding you back from being the father you truly want to be? What lights you up? What is going to create enough momentum to change, make better choices, and stay on track? Here, I'm going to want you to be brutally honest. How will making excuses impact your relationship with them and with yourself? What decisions could you make today that would see a change in circumstance and bring you closer together? Right, I'm going to share something personal. I'm in a job that pays the bills. Doesn't light me up. I'm grateful for the opportunity and I'm blessed to be able to use the skills I've learned every day to the benefit of those around me. The thing is, I'm damn good at my job. I have a set of skills that give me an advantage, and those skills have been built up over time and across different roles and different experiences. But sometimes I still feel empty, like I'm meant to deliver more value and give something back, to create something that gives my kids something valuable, something different, something unique, and something that inspires. So what's my excuse? Chaos, stability, fear, making sure they're secure before I take that leap? I think we all get to that point where we're facing up to a challenge or a fork in the road. We've been through so much that it clouds our vision and inhibits our decision making. You must remember that you're an anchor for them, for her, for others, and at times that anchor will slow you down. Sometimes though, you need to appreciate the journey is bigger than the outcome, and what you put in over time will eventually be rewarded. For us, life has been full on. Here's the thing and the conclusion that I came to. Truth isn't power, choices. We are choosing to find excuses. We're choosing to hide. We love them, we're loyal and committed. But, and I know you know this, your power as a father isn't found in being the one who holds everything up. It's in being the one who knows when to set things down. Your role is to create momentum for you and them so that you set the standard. If you're in a job that's kicking your ass and giving you nothing in return for your effort, what is it doing to your confidence? The way you show up and how you make them feel. Is that job stopping you living your best life? Or more importantly, is it stopping you from giving them what they need? Trust me, I get it. Financial stability. That's part of the job we signed up for. But if you're clocking in and out for little encouragement, growth, interest, and a stable salary, can you really see yourself doing it forever? As dads, we need to lead, but the excuses wear us down. So what does that show then? What choices would you make that could set your family on a new path? If you've got no plan and it's stopping you from taking action and building something that creates momentum, who's responsible for that? If your wife is hurting, your boys are watching, and your soul is calling, what the hell are you still waiting for? Let me ask you this. What do you need to do differently? What do you need to do differently this week to stop existing in that story and start writing something new? Now, I realised that staying mentally strong wasn't enough. I needed to lead. We need a shared plan that puts joy at the centre of our family. One that helps us be present. One that builds towards that life we actually want. Not just the one that's fine for now. Because fine for now is making us fractured. And we know it. That togetherness is what will move us forward. We have to make it work. It's draining at times, but no matter what you've been through or where you find yourself, you cannot be confined and you cannot limit their potential because you were unwilling to take a risk or unwilling to change. If something is stopping you from becoming a better dad, you've got to face up to it. I know the pressure of financial stability, our mortgage, bills, food, council tax, trying to put some money aside for their future and our security. It's exhausting. It's painful at times, but we have to reset. We have to break the cycle and we have to take ownership for where we find ourselves today. Not only that, we have to work towards something brighter and something that inspires and something that shows them what life is all about. The biggest excuse I had, I didn't have enough time. I liked the security. I needed continuity. I needed stability. I believed at the time my employer valued me, my contribution, and recognised my talent. The thing is, when you're faced with losing everything, you begin to see things clearly. You see what adds value and what doesn't. Importantly, you begin to see your value to those you love the most. So is it worth the sacrifice? That's for you to decide. But will it come at a cost? Cost you can't ever get back. The hard truth, which I hope you take away from this. The excuse isn't the job or the stress or the mortgage. The excuse was me and my unwillingness at the time to set the standard. Me not drawing the line and saying, this is sacred. This is the time they get the best of me, not the scraps. Because legacy isn't about what you leave behind. It's about how you show up now. I know we need to protect, provide, and deliver when it matters most. But at a cost to your legacy, their future selves, their confidence, perspective, security, or where they see and find happiness. Look, I hope you and I are on the same page. I know what it's like to be influenced by the pressure. I know what it's like to be tired and feel like you're failing them. So let's start resetting. No more hoping the chaos settles. We must create structure, make room for connection. We must cut out the dead time, the invisible leaks that steal our presence. Because if we don't use that time, I hate to say it, but we're going to be treading water. We're limiting our world, which limits theirs too. Today we're not burning it all down. We're designing this path forward, and we're doing so together. As a partnership, as parents, as leaders, my wife and I We'll stop at nothing to create something unique, but we're not going to burn down the family doing so. We're going to understand the pressure, where it's coming from, and we're going to focus on the value we bring to the home. We're going to focus on disconnecting and leaving the load at the door. We're going to find the strength to put these people we brought into the world first. In my experience, leadership at home doesn't start with being perfect. It starts with being present. Owning the emotional tone, letting go of that narrative that says you need to have it all figured out before you fully show up. If you're a dad who's trying to do it all, I see you. The surviving isn't the same as leading. You don't need to carry the world on your back. You need to build a plan, if you're together, to build it as a partnership. And if you've listened this far, my message is simple. Look at your kids. Look them in the eye the next time you tell them that you love them. Let them see who you are, how much they truly mean, and embrace them like it was your last day. Never lose sight of their innocence. But remember, they'll grow up in your shadow if you cannot find a way to show them what this life is all about. The bills weigh heavy. The fatigue is real. The pressure at times feels like it will never subside. But that's why we created life. It was never going to be easy. It's designed to test your mental fortitude, and it's expecting you to show up. So if today's episode has got you thinking, here's what I'm asking you, and what I ask myself every single day. What story am I telling myself that justifies me checking out? What pattern am I repeating that I wouldn't want my kids to inherit? What are they seeing? And how does that behaviour make them feel in the moment where I'm in the room but not present? And what decision can I make today that will raise our standards? This has to be the work we're doing for ourselves and for them. Life and fatherhood, they're not about survival. It's about choosing to try something different. Kids don't need a perfect dad, just need a present one. You don't need more time, you need more clarity, more conviction, and a reminder. Your presence, that's the point. What you need more than anything is to choose to set the standard, then raise your game. Not by throwing yourself into work, but by throwing yourself into the life at home, in the moments with your kids and your partner. Your standard will set the tone. It will create a vision for their future, one you can nurture over time. You see, this isn't about making sweeping changes. This is about taking a step forward today, another tomorrow, and doing it every single day. If you start today, where will they be in the future? What path will they follow? And how much will you and they grow? And what bond will you have built? Write it down. Dive into the detail. Create something so powerful and unique that you cannot wake up and not move toward it. Your change, any change, must be necessary, and it's got to leave a mark. Become the role model you know they need, and inspire your next generation to pursue passion, love, life, and happiness. Because it can be done, but the bigger question is, can you deliver it? Can you create the blueprint for them to follow? As always, remember our resources are all available at themodernfatherhoodclub.com, and our guide to avoiding burnout and focusing on the right things is available right now for free. And for those of you willing to take a step up and elevate your fatherhood story and become truly present, the New Dad Recharge is available right now for £49. And for a limited period, we've thrown in Fatherhood Unleashed to keep you honest, accountable, and focused on the impact that you have. This is Friday Fuel. This has been Answer Me This. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate the effort that you expend every single day, and I know that you're doing everything you can to create a life where they will thrive. Thank you so much for listening. This has been Aidan, and I'll see you soon.